Okay,
Wow.
I'm slowly getting everything going here. That's not rolling. First off, hi everybody.
Hi.
I don't know what I don't know what it's like in Bend or Portland, but we're gonna have like upper 90s, low triple digits all
weekend.
week. Yeah.
It was 100 degrees today at my house.
Oh fuck. Okay.
Yeah. Currently here it's 93 degrees with no AC. So if you hear a fan, that's why.
Oh Jesus! Everybody's getting punished. What the hell? So much.
I love it. I love this.
Do you?
Me
Yeah.
too.
Right, yeah.
We should have this conversation on January 21st, and I would take this. I'll take this any day.
Really?
Over, yeah.
Over cold?
Yeah.
Same. Exactly
Yeah.
the same. Hate it.
So you
Hate
guys are the
cold.
ones outside spraying aerosol cans into the air
That's
to try
right.
to fuck up the ozone. And just,
Yeah.
I want it hotter.
That's right.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
All right, fine. Here we go, you guys. Before we begin, let's do the thank you dance. First and foremost, thank you dance goes out to the one and only Gooder Sunglasses. Today, in true Gooder style, they are offering, get this, Prime Number Day. Get it? Which means they are rounding each pair price down to the nearest prime number. That's because there's a big corporate demon also doing their thing, and they're trying to play along with that in a little snarky way, and I think it's pretty good. Check out Gooder.com while you're listening to this very podcast. Pick out some of the great sunglasses and support an original company playing it genuine. Gooder Sunglasses, style, fit, form, and function. Also, big thanks to Giant Bicycles, the source for every perfect fit for your two-wheeled lifestyle. Get to a Giant dealer today, test ride, try to wipe that smile off your face afterwards. You won't be able to. Ride Life, Ride Giant. Check out their entire lineup of bikes, gear, and so much more at giant-bicycles.com. I think if you Google it, you'll probably figure it out, right? So, hey, everybody, let's do this while I take a beer. I wish you guys could see it. Paul's got his a serious face on, man. He's got the glasses on. He's scrolling through his phone.
That's right.
It's game day.
Yep.
The time has come again, everybody. We are live on Podbean. We are live on YouTube, and I hope you've done your research, and I hope you're riding your bike. Welcome to the Packfiller. I'm Pat Bulger. The beers are poured, and the conversation is about to get as hot as the weather. With me are the Packfiller. Well, most of us. First, he knows a buttload about pro cycling, yet for some reason he always ends up doing the punishment. Mr. Paul Main.
Yeah. I deserve a punishment. That's for sure.
Second, he also knows a buttload about bike racing, even though he's been doing it for the shortest amount of time. I would copy his picks, people. Mr. Jackson Bulger. How are you, dude?
Doing pretty well, thank you.
Third, he's the diva. Need I say more? Need I say more?
What?
The diva is back. Nobody knows how his picks go because he either disappears when things get tough or he changes while we weren't paying attention. We love him anyway. Welcome back to the show, Mr. Karsten Hagen. How are you, dude?
Hi there.
Me? Well, I'm the career killer. If I like you, you either crash, you get busted for doping, or you have some horrific or unexplained day or days from hell throwing your career into the destiny of being a greeter at Walmart. I'm Pat Bulger. Gentlemen, obviously my intros didn't get any laughs. Paul's so lost in his own little world I didn't even get a
Sorry,
chortle.
I had this all in my head, and I watched a preview show about my picks, and I'm scrambled them all up. So now I'm hitting the panic button.
Wow. Okay. How are we doing in our cycling world, everybody? First of all, I'm going to start in studio. Paul, what was your ride week like?
Saturday was not all that. I eked out one. It was pretty windy this whole weekend here in Spokane, so
yeah.
I eked out just a small. I didn't feel very good at it. My legs felt pretty tired for no reason. Not like I've been riding a lot. And then yesterday, since all you guys abandoned me, I had to go call a bunch of old teammates, and we went out for a ride.
You're sleeping with your old girlfriends?
Yeah, I brought the old band together. I had Ryan and Scott and Andre. We went out and did the Troika Loop, and it was reverse winds. I like the Troika Loop because we have a cross tailwind about 2/3 of that ride.
Okay.
It was headwind and cross headwind, those 2/3. It came from the east.
Oh.
when it usually comes from the southwest.
See, because I drove home that way into a horrible headwind yesterday.
We shared that one.
Yeah, it was ugly. I was in an RV too, so it was just, I'm doing the
Was the sheriff full?
fuck, the whole drive home kind of a thing like that. So it was. There were plenty of profanity choices used on the way home. So how many rides? So two, three,
just two.
Just two.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I was going to do the Thursday night spirited ride, but things came up. Like Renee said, my wife, let's go out to dinner.
Oh.
Hey, that sounds pretty good.
Okay.
Have some beer.
There you go. Karsten Hagen, first of all, how you been, man? We haven't talked to you. You haven't been on this show for a while. I've talked to you via text, but the listener hasn't talked to you for quite a long time.
Well, I've been working, usual shit. And then I had surgery on Wednesday, which means I have been off the bike and will be off the bike for another week or so, probably. But yeah, just, that's about the only interesting thing that's happened in my life. When you say
surgery, is this something you can divulge on air, or is this something a little too...
Oh, penis enlargement.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I'm fairly open about this.
Okay.
I need some help, and so I went to a good doctor.
Okay, good for you. It's like a baby's arm holding an apple now, huh?
Yep.
Jackson, you and I have a little story we can tell. We did a little ride this weekend in Ellensburg. We traveled to... I don't think it's officially Central Washington, but I consider it dead center of Washington.
They call it the heart. I thought afraid it was the heart of... Maybe it's...
But it's not afraid.
Ellensburg, yeah.
Oh, man. I got to tell you, it is... I know the Columbia Gorge is supposed to be the windiest place on earth, but I'm convinced Ellensburg, Washington will compete for it here shortly. But Jackson and I met there to compete in the Ellensburg Fondo. And I think we've been talking about this over the last couple of weeks on the show about fondos and about what fondos are and what fondos have become. And this was Jackson, would you agree with me that there were more people taking this seriously than many races I've done in the past?
Yeah, this was let's drop everyone we can in the first 30 miles type of race.
Yeah, it was I don't want to say dick measuring because they were both genders involved, but it was sizing up from the word go. And 90 miles, right? Yeah, 90 miles. It said 7,700 feet of climbing. When I got finished, it was just over 8. So I take that 300 feet very seriously. If you've seen me, you will understand why. And the wind was constant 30 miles an hour in one direction the whole time. It did not, that wasn't gusts. It was 30 miles an hour steady in our face the whole way out there. And then we turned and went into the gravel section, quote unquote, which was the majority, if not all, the climbing on Forest Service roads and things like that. We had a good first half, wouldn't you say, Jay?
Yeah, we did. We were trying to kind of dodge the wind throughout the first 30 miles, and then things went a little differently once we started climbing. Yeah,
you honestly looked like somebody going for King of the Mountain points at the base of the climb. He had the jersey kind of flopping a little bit because he had his long sleeve jersey on. It was kind of flapping there. It looked cool riding away from me. He did. You kept looking back at me, Jackson, and I wanted to give you the signal for like, don't wait for me. Tell my story, like the dad in what was the movie where the high school kids, Wolverines, Red Dawn, the dad in Red Dawn, avenge me, and I was that dad. I was the dad screaming at the fence. And Jackson, I don't know if how humble you want to be or something like that, or how far you want to peel back the curtains, but you ran into some trouble.
Yeah, so we were like you said, I was I was climbing pretty well. We hit the climb, and I was feeling as good as I do every single day, or on one of my good days, to be honest with you. And then we reached. I let one of the guys, the only guy that was with me, come around, and we were 1 and 2, and just to let him kind of take the pole at the front for a little bit, and then just out of nowhere, it was like there was nothing left. We were 31 miles in, and everything just was gone. I was drinking. Nothing was really working. I was eating. Nothing was really being absorbed. So it was just like out of nowhere, everything just blew up.
And
that was weird.
And it didn't come back. I was thinking this was going to be something that you were going to like have to fight yourself through. Something would have to kick in, stuff like that. We got to the top of this probably 3,000 foot climb at least, and you and I regrouped, and you were saying, I don't know what's going on. I just don't have any energy in the tank. And we kept going. And then we got to a later aid station and stopped, and you looked me in the eye and said, I'm dizzy. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jay. You're dizzy. You were nauseous a little bit.
Yeah, I ate a Cliff Bar that almost was not eaten fully.
Yeah. And you just look. You were done. And I hadn't seen that, and since then we've been trying to kind of figure out what the hell might have been the situation. Was there any major dietary changes? Was there any type of training changes? You were on your gravel bike for the first time in a long time, and we were wondering if it was position based.
And I think that's. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
I was gonna say, I think a difficulty that I have been having is I've been on the bike behind me, my full-on like road race bike for the past month and a half, and I've gotten used to that bike. And then immediately getting on this bike, which is, first of all, it's steel. I've gotten into that comfort zone of being used to carbon, and it's a different feel altogether. It was super different. Right when I stepped on it, I don't know if I audibly did this, but I went, oh man. And really? It was a very different experience. So I think fit issue might have been a big deal. My back really started to hurt halfway through. I felt like, and I never experienced back issues, so I think that was my big deal.
Anybody else have a theory? Just listening to our
I got one.
Yeah.
So this is exactly what happened to Jackson during the Tuesday night ride in Bend 2 years ago, and it's on video. Like it was hot and windy. And same conditions, and Jackson was instantly dehydrated, and things just fell apart. I think it's a heat issue.
Yeah.
Did you feel hot, Jackson?
I don't know. I think it was. I think we were onto something when we were talking about dehydration a little bit. I started to feel the chills, which I immediately recognized as like I got to start drinking. So I had quite a bit there. So I think that might have been an issue. I don't know. It was a weird thing. I'd never gotten that little into a ride and just been completely finished.
Yeah. Same thing on Tuesday night ride. We were 20 minutes in, and it was the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's.
You're just too skinny, dude.
You know what? Your mom and I sat up last night, of course, Father's Day. So I had I had some alcohol in me.
Oh.
Yeah. Strange, right? And we were like going, I bet that kid doesn't get 2,000 calories a day. I bet he doesn't.
That's what you'd think.
Well, I mean, okay, I'm gonna bust your balls a little bit, but are they 2,000 good quality calories, or is there an occasional bag of Skittles thrown in?
I don't know what it is. It's just I have always tried to put something on, whether it be through eating or something, and it just is gone. It's hard for me to gain weight, as annoying as that may sound.
No, you obviously don't get that from me, but that's okay. But no, it's just because I'm trying to help you kind of rule out some of the theories. So in a couple weeks when we're in San Diego at Belgian Waffle, something that might work or might not work. You're a dude who drinks water all day. You're a hydrated guy. So yeah.
So you didn't feel hot all that much, but you got to chill, right? You can get that from bonking too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it depends on what you ate before. In my opinion, like your glycogen stores. Did you burn them up doing something else on a ride? I don't know. With the back problem, that's sometimes inherent. If you've never had it on that bike and you've ridden many times before on that bike, it may be positioned, but sometimes you might have gone out a little too strong and you burn things up pretty fast. And when you start pushing hard, your lower back takes a punishment. I mean, that could be a possibility too.
The other thing is dehydration can present itself with kidney pain sometimes.
Yeah,
which is a lower back thing.
Oh yeah.
Terry, prime listener of the show, guy who was kind enough to lend me his wheels. I want to go on the air and say thanks to Terry for loaning me a set of wheels. I didn't have my big wheels. We were talking about that last week at the last show, saying, wow, am I going to have to ride 27.5 wheels pumped up to 80 pressure with my, gigantic ass tires on there to get through. But Terry came forward and loaned me a pair of Hunt wheels, which are awesome. And he was at the race with us and stuff like that, and he was, it was good to have him there. And I can't remember why I was going with this, with bringing up Terry, but it was he was saying that the pace going out was really high. I didn't notice it because I took a couple turns at the front, but I made a point that when the guy in front of me pulled off, it was a really jerky group, and I don't mean jerks but them as personality. I mean, it was like somebody would pull off the front, and the next person would accelerate. That classic bullshit move when you're in a rotating pace line of some sort. And so that was a little screwy. So I would always make a point to never increase my pace and just do like maybe a 2-minute pull and just whip off and stuff like that. But he was saying that the pace going out he thought was pretty hard. So I know maybe it surprised us. Maybe it was tough on there. So I just I'm just trying to rule it out for you, Jackson. And I don't want to kind of bring you to the forefront, hold you up and go, hey, Jackson had a bad day. But for somebody like you, I know it's not a matter of especially fitness when it comes to the fact that we were under 2 hours into the event, and if it was an endurance issue, maybe if we were longer into the event, that might come about, and I'm not saying, because I don't know what your training is. You probably have plenty of endurance. We've done some longer rides. I've seen in your Strava you've been doing long rides, so I can't rule out it's not endurance. And was it the heat, and it wasn't that hot it really wasn't that hot until well after that moment. Was it a diet thing? We had a frozen lasagna the night before, which is chock full of sodium, but I don't think that's going to cause that big of a thing. The bike itself, your bike, you've been on that bike before. It's not like it's a brand new bike we handed to you, and all of a sudden you had to deal with a brand new position. So, I mean, I'm just trying to check off the boxes and see if there was something that was going on, and I don't know what it was. So, yeah. So anyway. There, I guess we could just go with that. There we go.
Well, one thing, we've all been there.
Oh,
at least
God,
once.
yes. Oh, shit,
At least once.
We'll be again.
Yep.
Yeah. But on a positive switch, Jackson, you are racing this Wednesday, right?
Yeah, this Wednesday. I'll be racing this bike behind me, and so that'll be fun. I've never done it before. Here in Portland, I've never raced before, so it'll be a new experience. It's got a little bit of climbing in it, so it'll be perfect for me. And yeah, I'm just going in with lofty expectations and just trying to have a good time. Good.
That's the way to take it, man. And it should be interesting because I know what it's like to jump into a group where you don't know anybody there and you don't have anybody to kind of stand there next to at the start line and go, holy shit, what are we doing here? What the fuck are we going to do? Or somebody to talk to mid-race. So I applaud your bravery for just going for it and just saying, fuck it, let's see what happens, something like that.
Yeah, I had to bite the bullet eventually.
Yeah. I had a race before COVID that I did where I was that because somebody who's sitting across the console from me claimed he forgot his shoes and and then didn't race with me, and I was a little mad at him because I got dropped in like the first 10 minutes of a 40-minute crit because there were 5 of us at the fucking start. But holy shit, it was bad. Gentlemen, we got a lot to get to, so let's get to the news, shall we? The biggest news of the day, starting with our headlines, what many would say all centered around the soap opera. You know what? Let's just kill the news theme, and let's just go straight to the soap opera theme. The soap opera that appears to be under the house of Patrick Lefevre. Mark Cavendish has been announced to the Deceuninck Quick-Step team for the Tour de France just days after team boss Patrick Lefevre announced that the British sprinter would remain at home for the Grand Tour. Do you like my dramatic music? Because I added that today. Sam Bennett was down to take part in the race and defend his green jersey, but according to the team, the Irishman failed to respond to treatment to his injured knee when Cavendish being drafted in on Monday morning. That was this morning. So, there's been questions from Patrick Lefevre. Enough of that shit. There have been questions by Lefevre himself, basically saying, and I'm going to quote him. He expressed some resentment that Bennett was not on the tour team, telling Sporza, "I can't prove he doesn't have knee pain, but I'm starting to think more and more that it's more fear of failure than just pain." He also told another newspaper, "We thought Bennett was on the right track. Then it turns out that he's told us anything but the truth. He said 3 different things to 3 different people on the squad. That's not the way it's played." So we've got 2 stories under the creeping sands through the hourglass that is the house of Patrick Lefevre. First of all, my first question is he just a professional shit stirrer? Remember the sponsor talk we had about a week ago or 2 weeks ago where Patrick was saying, fucking Bora Hansgrohe's trying to buy my team, all this stuff, I can't find any sponsors, woe is me. And now he's talking about the fact that his sprinter, who's leaving next year, right? Mm-hmm. Is claiming not to be, he's claiming to be injured even though he's not, yada, yada, yada. Whose side do we take on this? Number one, is Patrick Lefevre just a shit stirrer, or is Sam Bennett another Rowan Dennis? Is he truly injured, or is he just being, sorry Karsten, a diva? Does anybody have a theory on the shit that's going on under the house of Deceuninck Quick-Step? I'll let anybody.
I think we have an HR issue.
Really? Yeah. It's
and either way, at the end of the day. The guy that's going to the tour is not going to get the same results that, it's not the same guy. He's not a dick anymore, but he's also not as fast as he was.
Cavendish.
Yeah, Cavendish, yes.
Yeah. No. I've grown to like Mark Cavendish now, and I feel like an asshole every time I talk about him because I've seen the emotion behind him. But he was a fast asshole for a long time. Paul, any theories on any of this stuff going on?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who to believe. I think he kind of split it down the middle a little bit.
It's like your child stuck in a divorce.
Yeah,
each parent's talking bad about each other.
Yeah, Lefevre is known for creating, a big drama story behind everything, but. If it's true that he told 3 different staff members, Bennett, telling 3 different stories, what's going on. We haven't really seen Bennett do much this year. His contract was up, and, so how, of course, he's the only one that could probably win the green jersey, but he's going to feel a lot of pressure. Now, if you look back in his past, even those who are in his fan club, like Sean Kelly, was getting frustrated because he should be winning more races. And it seemed to me kind of like in his head, Sean was kind of pointing that he needs to be more mentally strong. So there could be that. But I was sitting on the toilet doing my best thinking and reading that story about Lefebvre, and I was thinking, what if? Because Ackerman wasn't picked for Bora, right?
True.
Exactly, yeah.
That's a big one, by the way.
Yeah.
That was really blown away by that one.
So Ackerman's not on there, and he had some nasty things to say about his bosses and he has not won a race this year. So there is a good reason why I wouldn't pick him either if I was, choosing the team.
Yeah.
But then Bennett is leaving, and he left Bora. What if it's a trade because Lefebvre is going to take Ackerman next year, right, from Bora, because the Koenig, it'll be Quick Step next year, always takes people like Cav, Kittle, all these sprinters that are just hit a plane or on the downward. Yeah. He goes back and jacks his career up, so it might be a trade there. I know it's a stretch.
So you're saying Bookman,
no, Ackerman.
Bennett would go back to
Bora? Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Because think about it, Sagan's gone
that's
next
rumor.
year.
That's the rumor. That's what he's going to do.
Sorry, Jesus Christ.
Because Sagan most likely is not going to be there next year.
Yeah,
exactly.
Mm-hmm. So they need a sprinter that has some credentials.
Jackson, provide a youthful opinion on this.
Yeah, I think when it comes to Lefebvre, I think when one person does so many things so many times, it's kind of hard to say that they're not that thing that they keep expressing. Because it seems like he's just trying to create a lot of buzz just to get his team money and attention. I mean, as they say, no publicity is bad publicity, but I think he is a little bit of a, as you say, shit stirrer. And I think it'd be really interesting for Ackerman to go to a team like Quickstep. He'd have the team behind him. I think right now he doesn't really have the team behind him. He's playing a second fiddle to Sagan in every single race that doesn't have a gigantic name or price tag on it. So I think that'd be a good thing. But I'd be interested to see what the Sagan Bennett issue would look like and whether that team gets a reshuffle because nothing's been confirmed yet. So yeah.
What do we think of Cavendish, Mark Cavendish in the Tour? A lot of people are obviously overjoyed by it. I mean, the overwhelming response on social media today was through the roof.
I would say if I was Lefebvre, between the two, I mean, I think for a fan favorite, Bennett hasn't really performed much this year. And then with his shenanigans, I don't blame him for picking Cavendish. They're not going to get the green jersey, and I don't think that's really their intention. I think it's stage wins. But I'm happy. I'm glad to see this. It's good to see an old timer. See what he does. This could be his last time in the Tour. So
which one of those riders has more value to specialize long term? It's Cavendish because of his 6 day.
Yeah.
It's his 6 day performance in the winners, which he's going to do for the next couple of years, and he's got a long term contract. They all do have contracts to specialize.
Yeah.
So I think that's the bigger driver here.
And he's the only one still wearing those fucked up glasses from Oakley.
They chipped in.
Jesus, those things are so goofy. Yeah. I'll wear the nose guard for another 6 months if you let me get through this. How do you think this affects the goals of the team for the Tour, Koenig Quickstep? I mean, what where are they looking at now? Obviously with Alaphilippe.
Mm-hmm.
Alaphilippe. I don't mean to reveal my hand here too soon, but Alaphilippe is not a Tour winner.
Nope.
So where are their objectives? I mean, Paul, you kind of gave me.
Well, no, I don't think he is. I agree with you. I don't think he is long term. If you look at the course, I think he's. If you look at the first couple of weeks, he probably could have the jersey, do another Volkler, cleave to it like he did the last time.
Yeah.
Cleave to the jersey as long as he can and get the fans all excited about a French hope.
It was huge, yeah.
But which is good for that purpose. But I think stage wins are more important. No one wins more stages than the Koenig, and I think they're saving Remco for the Grand Tour stuff. So
yeah.
I think an interesting Something that was interesting that I thought of today was I don't think the green jersey hopes are completely gone. I think because they brought Cav, they also brought Ballerini for a reason.
Yeah.
He's a sprinter who who goes under the radar quite a bit, but he can also climb kind of like a Sagan. So I think that'll be, and I'm really interested to see where that goes. Because they are both very somewhat similar riders. And I also agree with Paul. I think Alaphilippe I think he'll win a stage, especially being his home tour. Everybody's going to be cheering for him, and he kind of, for some reason, feels that French passion, especially when he's back in his home country. So I think he'll kind of do that, clinging onto the jersey if he wins the stage.
So that all being said, the green jersey competition this year is really interesting because I think the initial green jersey winner is going to leave in a week. That's Van der Poel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or he goes for the yellow jersey just to do it because of his grandpa. But at the end of the day, after a week, he's going to leave, and that's going to change our perception of the green jersey competition. So after a week, so we're talking about the green jersey competition for the final 2 weeks, because I think Van der Poel's going to have it for the first week.
You do? Okay. Well, there's Tim Merlier.
I've got him for the second 2 weeks.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think. Well, we're going to get into this here as we get going here, but I think Mathieu Van der Poel, I don't think he's going to be riding with any sort of strategy other than just glory on the day. He's just going to be completely burning matches left and right.
Green. He just wants green.
Yeah. Well, what's the point though? I mean, a stage win is going to be bigger than a green. He doesn't want. I think he wants stage wins more than green. Green would be a nice perk, but
the first week, isn't it kind of the same thing? Like
no, the first 3 stages, there's not really a good honest sprint stage till after 3. I think that it's kind of hilly, rolly stuff, which you could probably do well in, but they hit the Alps pretty soon. That's the first one. The decision is going to be made this year on the last week in the Pyrenees. So,
okay, let me keep rolling before we get too far into Tour de France stuff because I'm still in news headlines and I got to continue with. No, I am, and I still got to continue with the dramatic music because continuing with overly dramatic issues in bike racing, let's touch base on the ongoing saga that seems to surround Justin Williams. First, he won the Belize National Championships. Yep, Belize. After 11 U.S. National Championship wins, he now holds a license in Belize. So does anybody have any initial thoughts on that and the reasons for his potential switch to that? I'd also like to bring up the fact that he is vocal as shit on social media. There's a hell of a lot of going on surrounding this guy. Frustrations at Tulsa, the U.S. Crit Nationals not going the way of Legion. And the now famous video clip featuring a very famous word commonly used in the monarchy, the British world, the C word that we don't talk over here, or we get kicked out of our homes. And I've heard a lot of grumblings talking to Justin about. And I'm scared. This is the culture we live in. I'm scared to go this direction. But Justin tending to bring some issues of race into bike racing that some people are saying aren't necessarily justified for that moment. If you're controlling a race and other people are frustrated, I don't know if the color of your skin necessarily compares to that. And here I am. I'm terrified. I can feel my pulse rate going up because I think that's the world we've entered.
Yeah.
Should Justin take his team and get out of the U.S. national scene and take it to the bigger ranks? What are the many reasons behind all that goes on behind Legion and the Williams brothers right now?
Well, I can tell you right off the bat why he went to Belize. That's where his dad was born and raised, so he has that dual citizenship or something. After George Floyd situation, he was very disappointed in the United States. He didn't feel he felt like he wanted to honor a different country at that point in time. He made that statement. So that's fine. That's good. I can understand that. As in there, I think what Legion's trying to do is create kind of that crit beef. Everybody's heard about crit beef.
Absolutely.
It was kind of getting rolling to bring. It kind of helps to bring media and people. It really did do a lot. Yeah, create a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And if you follow it, and I started following it a little bit more, and especially after Nationals crit when Corey went down. And I just saw a guy, if you guys are ever interested, because that crash happened outside, kind of like in this dead zone. No one got to see it. Somebody had still pictures. Somebody had their button down and has it. So go to Glycogen Cycling, and the guy breaks it down. It's a 30-minute clip, but, everybody's trying to analyze it. And I think, Legion's not afraid to point out that they bump. And they push, and you have to earn your spot, and that type of thing. Watching the crash, my first initial thought was, because I couldn't see it, I thought, Corey was just, pushing the guy out of the way. I changed my mind when I watched the clip. Yeah, I think he was holding his position. He did the old chicken wing.
Sure.
Stuck it out. The guy was underneath. I mean, they were side by side, but because Corey had the inside line, he just stuck his arm out so the guy couldn't go through, and I'm sure the guy hit it, and that caused Corey to go down, and so that's my opinion, my take on it.
Okay.
As of the racial thing, I wish it wouldn't go there, but if Justin sees it that way, I think for us, we hopefully he sees differently if it is different. Or those who are
hopefully
not.
This isn't the case.
Or could not be the
absolutely,
case.
Yeah.
McCabe seems to like the whole crit beef thing. He's kind of playing with it, but there isn't. I haven't seen everything, but all the banter about this, I don't think races. I don't think, but this is coming from a 58-year-old white guy. I didn't think too much was racial about it.
Yeah.
I didn't hear either side mention race, but anyway. That's my take on it.
Yeah. Anybody?
Yeah.
Go, Jay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think it's. I didn't know about the whole Justin kind of having that dual citizenship. I kind of assumed it, but I think if he feels that way, it's a great way to kind of express that part of the cycling world. And he was obviously he earned it. It wasn't one of those things where like there was nobody else there that was good enough. So he really kind of earned that, and it'll be cool to have. I think they also have the Mexican national champion as well, so they'll have kind of a myriad of jerseys, which will be good for that team. Like Paul said on the racial thing, I don't know if I could speak to that because I wasn't there, but if it's there, I think that of all the teams, they will be the ones that kind of dive into it and focus on it, and I think that it is an aspect of the sport that is not really spoken on, and I think that it's cool that we have people that are willing to talk about it now, that are in the sport. But I don't think it's all about that. And I think that they kind of walk that line of there need to be black athletes in the sport. But also that's not what everything's about. So I respect their attention, the attention that they draw to it as well.
I think more American bike race fans would have an opinion about it that was well founded if coverage of crit racing was better. Like I was watching the crit Nats coverage, and the camera angles sucked. We didn't know who won until 5 seconds after the finish. We were all surprised by it. Lauren Hall was the only commentator that was worth her shit, and it sucked. Like if you compare watching the U.S. Crit Nats to watching a European Pro Tour stage, it was like watching a kindergarten video project. It was a great race, but nobody knew about it because the coverage was fucked up. So regardless of all the other stuff that's going on, criterium racing in the U.S. could be very exciting if we had good media around it.
I'm gonna agree with you. The fact that I thought Tulsa was covered, yes, I think we're dealing with shoestring budgets being put into this. I mean, we're not talking about Eurosport putting into a bike race. I first of all, I was happy to be able to watch all of our national championships on TV. I was happy to be able to watch Tulsa. That being said, was it as good as watching another bike race? I couldn't agree with you more, Karsten. I think I don't want to step on too many toes. I thought Lauren did a great job. I think Frankie Andreo should have been probably sitting right next to her. I think that the coverage could have been probably better. Hopefully, it will continue to get better. Because I'm just a guy sitting here on mic doing an audio podcast and not putting the money into investing into television programming, and somebody who takes advantage of the fact that these races are finally being televised. I don't want to step on any toes, but I do agree, Karsten. I thought there were a lot of problems with the coverage in terms of how it went. Yeah. Everybody around me is kind of nodding, so I guess we'll go with that. Joey Roscoff pulling off the Road Nats win. I thought that was a well-earned race. I was impressed with the finale of that one. I thought it went down to
that was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was one of the best bike races I've seen in years in terms of victories. That was great.
Everybody launching in those final K. That was great to watch.
That was American bike racing at its best.
Yeah.
Just attack after attack after attack after attack. It was great. It was wonderful to watch.
Yeah. Paul, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say it was like the last round of a heavyweight fight. They were just, it's the one that goes down, Yeah, it was, it was kind of fun to watch. I rewatched the last 14 miles, and trying to, sort out like the tactics behind there. But, I think everybody was just only one team had a couple of guys that just kept attacking after their teammate got caught,
Rally was.
Yeah, Rally.
Yeah.
And that's, it was Russ Koff.
Yeah.
He's the one that kind of came out ahead on that thing. But, I mean, you had World, and he used to be on World Tour. I think he was on BMC. I'm trying to think where else he raced. I think he was even on CCC. So, I mean, he's got some savvy and he's got some experience. It wasn't like out of nowhere. It's not a household name.
Yeah.
But
Jackson, you want to take us home on anything? I have a gigantic list of national champions. I have every single country's national champions up to this point, including the incredible performance by the women out there, and including, I do have to say, I think Elisa Longo Borghini won both the road and the time trial national championships, which is fucking crushing it. And and we've got a pretty strong Chloe Dygert with a great TT and things like that, which are going to bode well for the Olympics. However, this is a Tour de France preview show, and we're 42 minutes into a podcast. So, Jackson, you have anything you want to roll with national champions before we shift gears?
I'm just going to say that I'm pretty happy that Sagan is going to be easily recognizable for the next year.
Yeah, I forgot about that element. Yeah.
He and his brother have won the last 11 years.
Yeah.
The Sagan has had it. So
now, if both Williams brothers go to Belize, do you think it'll just turn into that too for them?
Easy.
It could be. Yeah, it could be. Could be. Gentlemen, the time is upon us. It is. I don't have any French national champion theme or anything like that, but the Grand Boucle, the biggest reason to watch bike racing other than Paris-Roubaix, if you were Paul Main, is upon us. The 2021 Tour de France. First and foremost, we've got a whole lot of shit to get through and probably not a whole lot of time in which to get through it. So our responses are going to have to be kind of to the point, but I do want you to be able to expand with 2 to 3 sentences and things like that. So let's start with the most broad and the most vague here. Does anybody have any thoughts or commentary on the course, the parcours itself? The fact that number one, anything of note, I don't know, Mont Ventoux in two times in one day. Less vertical meters than the last two editions that I have noticed in my slight amounts of research looking at things in terms of that direction. Does anybody have anything they want to comment on in terms of what they're seeing with the course this year and what any preconceived expectations might be from that realm?
I love time trials, and I love the time trial stages.
Yeah.
And the emphasis on them this year.
56 kilometers total this year.
Oh, shit.
Yep. It's good. I like that.
That doesn't... Go ahead.
I will say I'm interested to see what that second to last day time trial will look like and whether they are trying to kind of recreate another 2020 tour fiasco.
What's the climbing like in it? I didn't look.
It's relatively flat. It's got a few lumps and bumps in there, but
Not was it like last time?
No.
No.
It is,
No.
no.
Okay. All right.
All right.
No
well,
categorized climbs, I don't believe, on the last time trial.
Yeah.
So it lends itself because there's some heavy hills in the Pyrenees before the final stage, or the penultimate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Phenomena.
Thank you. Stage, which is the TT. So that would, for the climbers, they have to push the gas on the climbs, and the TT guys, they can make up time, are going to try and stay as close as they can and try and bust their nut, on the TT.
Sure. All right, let's play this. Let's play this game. Let's go to the favorites. I know this is weird, but I want you to start off. I don't want you to give me any picks yet. I just want you to give them a letter grade as if they were a student in your 4th grade reading class, okay? So I'm going to give you guys names, and we'll go Jackson, Karsten, Paul, and I'll give a grade too. And I just want you guys to say what kind of a grade they will get in terms of, we're helping the listener make their picks for the upcoming Tour de
we're
France.
helping them?
Yeah, we are. I know. Yeah.
That's funny.
Tadej Pogacar. Jackson.
A+.
A+. Paul Main. Oh, no, Karsten, I think, was next.
I mean, I didn't. So I picked 3 for the podium. I haven't picked a winner yet.
No, we're just giving grades. We're just giving grades to these guys. I just want you to give a letter grade to these guys before you pick anybody. What grade would you give Tadej Pogacar in your cycling class?
A.
A. Paul Main.
It's going to be an A- on this race.
Oh, I'm a solid A. Primoz Roglic. Jackson.
I would give him an A-.
Oh, Karsten.
A.
A. Okay, Paul.
A.
I'm going A. I think I'm going A+. Wink, wink. Geraint Thomas. Jackson Bulger.
A good B+.
Oh, Karsten.
B.
Paul.
A-.
Pat. B+. Simon Yates. Jackson.
A B-.
Karsten.
C+.
Oh, Paul May.
B.
I'm going to go with a B-. Theo Gegenhardt. Jackson.
Ooh, I'm going to give that a solid C-.
What minus?
C-.
Okay, C-. Karsten.
Oh.
Sorry, muted. Gegenhardt, C.
C. Paul.
I'll put a C+ on him.
C+. I'm going to go with C on that one. Okay, I'm getting down to the final major leaders. Chris Froome. Jackson Bulger.
An F.
Karsten Hagen.
A D- because he's starting.
That's nice. Paul Main.
D.
D. I'm going to go with a D, too. I think he's going to be nice to have him there. Did I say Rigoberto Urán? I did not.
No.
Jackson.
No.
I'm going to give him a B+ as well.
B+. Karsten.
Ron, I'd say B, but you asked initially for the outsiders, and he's a solid outsider.
He is a solid outsider.
So,
we're going to get to those. We're going to get to those picks,
Okay.
I promise.
I'm giving him a B+.
Okay. Paul Main.
B.
B. I'm going to go with a B, too. And those are the last ones I'm going to cover. Sprinters. I want you to give them a quick grade. Jackson Bulger, Caleb Ewan.
An A.
Karsten.
A-.
Paul.
A.
A. Pat, A. Buhani, Jackson.
Oh, like a D.
Whoa! Whoa! Karsten.
I agree with Jackson. He's not gonna hang in there.
D. Okay, Paul.
D plus.
I would. Yeah. The guy seems like he's a complete dickhead.
Yeah.
He just does.
He just really hasn't been performing.
I think for France, they'd love to see him get something, but
he's not tough.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with a C minus. Peter Sagan, Jackson Bulger.
A plus plus.
Oh, you you are drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Karsten Hagen.
Fuck. A minus. I got some reasons for that, but A minus.
I'm with Carson, A minus.
A minus.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with a B, but I think that B is consistent. If you get straight Bs, you get into any college you want. And I think Karsten, not Karsten. I think Sagan is.
The college is green.
Yeah. I think he's going to do really well there. Matthew Vanderpool, Jackson Bulger.
Ooh, I think that's an A.
Karsten.
A week 1.
A week 1. Yeah, exactly. Paul.
I say A minus week 1.
Okay, I'm gonna go. With. I don't think for sprinting. I don't think he's gonna go for points. I think he's just gonna be an opportunist, and I think I'm gonna give him a C for sprinting.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Mark Cavendish, Jackson Bulger.
Oh, this is gonna be harsh. I'm gonna give him a C.
Yeah. Karsten.
What the fuck is he doing there? And a C.
Paul.
A.
A.
He will win a couple of stages.
You think he will?
Yep.
I'm going to go with a B because I'd like him to win. I'd like him to win a stage or so here. What, Karsten?
He's going to win some stages, but he's not getting the green jersey, or he's not going to hold it for very long.
That wasn't the question. The question is for sprinting.
For sprinting, yeah. Exactly.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see.
So, and we're still not to our points yet, gentlemen. If you had to pick any type of outsiders or opportunists, what names popped into your head while you were forming your actual list of choices together? Anybody can go now. Jackson, were there any names that just might not be on your list that you chose, but were like, man, maybe I should lean that way?
I was very interested in the likes of either David Gaudu. I think he could be a strong pick for like a polka dot jersey.
Yeah.
Opportunist, but he's not going to win the yellow. And Mike Woods, also I think a climber's jersey type of rider, opportunist person. Yeah.
Am I the only one that's noticed that ever since the days of Laurent Jalabert, the climber's jersey has almost become an opportunist jersey. It's become these guys who go off on these huge, just daring type of early breaks to gather as much points as they did. Laurent Jalabert seemed to me to be one of the first people to really do that, to really kind of go, okay, it's a 200K stage. I'm going to go in the first 50K and try to hold on and gather as many points over these HC climbs or something like that. It just seems like it's become almost a jersey for opportunists rather than a true sign of a climber.
Early opportunists, because I see people in a polka dot jersey wearing it until they get absolutely shattered in the second week on a real climbing stage.
Yeah, but they still try to get it on those early climbs to gather those points. They're not the ones who are going to crest Ventoux the second time in the lead, unless you get the classic like Egan Bernal, who won 4 jerseys in the Giro.
You had a few in the day, like Veronk.
Yeah.
Was going for GC and always ended up on that because during the drug period, it was a different game.
Yeah.
They could go every day. I think now that people are hopefully clean, you can't be full gas. So now it becomes more of a strategy.
Sure.
If I'm not going to win, the GC guys are going to get the top points on the HC climbs, the final HC climbs. I'm going to go on a break and grab all these.
Yeah.
And, so I think that's where the strategy came from.
Any bets on how long the one and only Chris Froome makes it into the race? Will he make it the whole way to Paris, or will there be a day that he...
10 stages.
What'd you say?
10 stages.
10.
I say
10, 12, yeah.
I say makes it the whole way.
Jackson?
I think he will too, because he is that big tour winner name.
He'll force himself to stick into it. Okay.
He's that kind of guy.
Okay.
I don't think he's going to make the L'Enfant Rouge. I think he's going to get. He's not going to make the cut
Yeah.
halfway in.
Will Richie Port make it past stage 9? I'd like everybody to place a thumbs up or thumbs down if Richie Port will make it past stage 9. Paul, to the camera, gave a thumbs up. Jackson,
because he's got rim brakes. He'll
thumbs
make
up.
Not because of the rim brakes.
Yeah. Carson, will he make it to stage 9? Richie Port.
I think he's got a top 5 in him if he doesn't break something.
Oh man. Oh. I haven't made my picks yet. I'm not gonna lie. I have not made my picks yet.
Really?
Yeah, I'm terrified to make my
man.
picks 'cause I don't want to fuck anybody over. What will happen within Team Ineos? They are coming to this race. I'm looking at them on paper. Richard Carapaz, Theo Gegenhardt, Richie Port, Garrett Thomas. Those are just names that are Grand Tour winners. Except Richie Port hasn't won a Grand Tour.
No, but he won Romandy this year. Yeah.
You throw in there, I don't know, Jonathan Castroviejo, Michael Kwiatkowski, Dylan Van Baarle, Luke Rowe. Is there such thing as going to an event with too many? Are they going to Movistar it, I guess is what I'm asking. Are they going to end up with too many aces in the hole and shit just doesn't work?
I think any other team but Ineos, I think Brailsford knows how to control his riders. That's not going to be an issue. I'm not saying that they won't have some problems. I know Froome and Garrett had a little bit of a beef, in that time. But, I mean, both of them have commitment, and I think there's some dollar signs behind those commitments.
And we've said that before, yeah. It's like, shut up and do what you're paid to do. Yeah, okay.
Or find yourself another contract.
Yeah.
I also think Ineos is playing an interesting game here because they are bringing, I think, a rider that is going fairly under the radar as their best hope for GC. I think everybody's looking at Geraint, but I think Carapaz is who they should be going for.
Oh, Carapaz is my pick for the podium.
Paul just he's like sitting there just stewing. He's like, you fuckers.
Carapaz is their winner.
Yeah.
Really?
He's so consistent. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'd like to see Geraint, but Carapaz. I mean, here's the thing about Ineos. Every World Tour stage this year has been won by Ineos.
Yeah.
Every single one.
Shit. Okay.
On rim brakes.
Jumbo-Visma, have they been holding their cards too close to the chest? Does anybody have any idea what might be going on behind the ranks at Jumbo-Visma?
I think they're putting a lot of eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. I'm worried about Roglic because he doesn't have very many race days in him this year that are recently leading up to the Tour. So that's the only thing that I worry about. And I know that he sometimes has a tough time kind of getting to that final hurdle. And so I'm interested to see if they can hold that jersey this year. Because I think if he is on it, he is the best GC rider there is. If he's on, there's nobody that can beat him.
There are a lot of Grand Tour winners or Tour de France winners who didn't race much.
Yeah.
Before the Tour. Yeah. Voldemort being one of them.
Yeah.
He didn't race much from the early Spring Classics until the Tour.
You always saw him at Amstel Gold. He'd always show up at that
race.
one. Yeah.
Pretty early. And so, if you got that level of coaching and that kind of program, you probably don't need to race. So, we all kind of poo-poo the guy that doesn't race much before the Tour, but I've always been fascinated by that. If you can do it and stay non-injured and stay out of the spotlight, and you can do it secretly, I think that's pretty rad.
Well, I think if you look at his past, he always seems to fade in the last week.
Yeah.
In every Grand Tour. I mean, even the Vuelta, he just hung on. Carapaz, of course, put the fork to him in the very end, but he's able to salvage it. So I think Visma they really didn't show their cards very much this whole season.
Yeah.
I think they, like Jackson said, they put a lot of eggs in one basket. And I think that's what they're trying to do is make sure that Roglic is not overcooked. I mean, he didn't even do his national championships. He's just been doing camps. What was it? What race was it? Liège-Bastogne-Liège. After the day after Liège, he went to the Alps in pissing down rain and climbed the major mountains in the Alps for 3 days straight. So, I mean, he's not like his feet are up on the beach, having a Mai Tai, but I think they are. I think they've got something up their sleeve. I think it also gets people to think a little bit. The other teams, like, what are they up to? Because they haven't been showing their cards. Yeah. Watching Sepp Kuss and Kruijswijk, when they race, they put this huge attack, and then they just shut down. Yeah. And I started thinking back, Alaphilippe was doing that during the Tour last year, but he was getting ready for Worlds. He would do these, he used it for training. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Jumbo-Visma's looking at Wout van Aert, Primoz Roglic, Mike Tunisen, Robert Hessink, Jonas Vingegaard, Tony Martin, Sepp Kuss, and Stefan Kruijswijk. Holy shit. I mean, that, on paper, I would put that up against the Ineos. Mm-hmm. That's a strong group of guys going to that race. Do they have the brains, the big picture brains that Ineos does? That's my question. That's a
I guess
great
we'll
question.
find out.
Yeah, I guess we will find out. So here we go, you guys.
That's what it is.
I think we decided here in this year, and this is for all of our listeners who've been paying attention and following along, that we are going to play our own challenge again, just like we did in the Giro. I think we tweaked it just a little bit, just a couple things in terms of how things go in terms of gathering your points. Yes, I'm forcing you to do your own math. Everybody who's listening is going to have to go through it, and they're going to have to tabulate their own points. Okay. Now, we do have a couple friends who are great listeners of the show who might be kind enough to put some of those things together, but you do have to go to our Facebook page with Packfiller, and you have to indicate the riders you are choosing. And we decided that it has to be 24 hours before the prologue begins, right?
Yep.
So names have to be in. We're going to say our names tonight, but they have to be in 24 hours before the prologue begins. And you are allowed to pick 4 riders: a leader, obvious leader, a team leader, somebody who's like usually has a number 1 after on his jersey in some way, shape, or form.
It's your GC guy.
GC winner, a sprinter, an outsider. Now, when I say outsider, it can be somebody else. Like, for example, you can pick one of the other Ineos guys, but it definitely can't be something as obviously blatant. I think will allow you some gray area there, because it's not like I'm going to call you up and say, bullshit, or something like that. And then the opportunist, somebody who could be hunting for stage wins, somebody who could be going for things here and there. You have to think about this in terms of points, because for each stage, we're going to give 3 sets of points for each stage. First place gets 5 points. Second place gets 2 points. Third place gets 1 point. The final jerseys, we've upped it a little bit. I think, did we do 30 in the past?
40.
40?
No, 20. 20. We did 20 on those. On the green, well, we had the sprinters for the Giro. We did the sprinters, and the climbing was 20 points each.
And then the final jersey was 30?
40.
Was 40? Okay. Mm-hmm. I think that's a good one to go with. You don't want to necessarily have just winning the yellow jersey completely destroy the competition. So our final jerseys, 40 points for the yellow and 20 points for the green, polka dot. And should I include the white? What do you guys think? Should we include the white? No? Jackson? You're the young guy. Should we include the young guy's jersey?
It's more points to your tally, but I feel like not many people pay attention to it.
Okay. Well
most of the guys are going to be in the white jersey, who's second place.
Anyway.
Yeah. They're all young guys anyway. So
kids these days, right? Yeah. Where's my X button? There it is. Hey, you boys! Yeah, exactly. So, So you got to keep track of your points. Prize is going to be announced as the tour progresses because I'm working with some people to get even better prizes. If you live locally, we'll have some prizes, but if you don't live locally, the prizes will shift. So I send you something, and it's not necessarily something like, hey, I get a really cool service here in Spokane, Washington, but I don't live there, so shit. But definitely prizes are going to include from our friends at Gooder, at Scratch, us here at Packfiller, and so much more. So. I do want to say this before I go out there, and I want to throw this out to the guys on the show. Does anybody want to do a punishment bet this year for the Tour de France? Should we come up with a punishment bet right now and adhere to it? Last year it was up Mount Spokane twice, right?
Mm-hmm. That was for all of us for not.
Well, we all just agreed to do it together, even though. And then the year before, Paul did the tour, the rollers punishment on the rollers in the Kit of Shame. Does anybody have any immediate? We don't, I guess, necessarily have to pick the punishment, but does everybody want to sign on to a punishment challenge?
Sure.
What's your best flattish time trial course up there?
I'd say Cheney.
Yeah. Cheney's Tyler.
Yeah.
Use it for the
I know
Olympic
that
trials.
one well.
Yeah.
How about that Eddie style?
By yourself?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to do a time trial with anybody else.
And we get to throw water balloons at you or something like that? I'm just trying to think of a punishment.
No, I mean...
On the funny bike? I have a funny bike. On the funny bike,
no
in
aero
the Kit of
bars.
Shame.
No, well... Okay.
I think we're on to something here. I have a funny bike, and you'd have to ride it, and you'd have to wear the horrible Kit of Shame, that Dayglow kit with Metamucil.
Which I already soiled.
Paul's already soiled it. I washed it.
Oh, did you? All right.
God, me in that thing would be hilarious.
It's like simply huge size.
It is. It's gigantic. It's a triple XL, I think. Yeah. So it's everybody. Two people could fit in.
Yeah.
Okay. So are we leaning that way, Jackson? Are you willing to do a time trial on a horrible, goofy old bike in a Kit of Shame, and we videotape it, and people can come out and boo you?
There we go.
Okay, I believe we found our loser.
40K or what? How far are we going to do it?
40K.
40K.
The full 40K, and you got to go hard.
That's all relative.
It is relative. Yeah, it is. But I think it'd be funny just for video. Okay, everybody agree to it. Karsten, you're going to come to Spokane and do.
Yeah, I'm in. This time I'm in.
Okay, he means it this time. Everybody.
Does that thing even remotely fit me though? Like even come close?
That's not the point. But yeah, it does. I mean, my dad. It was my dad's bike, and he was 6'1". Is 6'1". He's shrinking. He's older, but yeah, it'll fit. It'll fit. But oh God,
the thing is the tires. Are they
I fucking don't know. I don't know, man. The front
Are you going to
wheel.
find some 26?
I'm going to have to find a 26 two-wheeler to fit the front of that.
I'll glue them on.
I'd do that. I'd do it just for the video.
Yeah.
Just for the video.
You probably can get them pretty cheap.
I'm not losing, so I'm not worried.
All right. Okay, here we go. Of course, it is time to pick our 4 riders. I have to get my pen ready to rock because we will have the footage here of the show, but everybody is putting themselves down for a leader, a sprinter, an outsider, beer burp, and an opportunist. So, who would like to jump into the tepid waters of the Tour de France first? Jackson?
I can. Unless Jackson's ready.
Paul can go first. Paul is going to...
Well, we all talked about it. It's Carapaz. I picked him as my GC. As much as I wanted Garrett, I really think, but I think, history proves itself that Carapaz keeps his backside off the pavement more often than Garrett. And I like the guy a lot, but nevertheless, I had to go with him.
Carapaz leader. Mm-hmm. Your sprinter.
You want me to do the whole thing?
Yeah, let's do them all.
I went with Caleb Ewing. I think he's climbing decent. If you remember Milan San Remo, he was in the mix on the climb. So I think he could throw a challenge to the obvious, which, Jackson's going to pick.
Yeah,
that is my sprinter. Yeah.
Your outsider.
My outsider, oh, man. So that's one that's I had something down. I think he is an outsider, although just because it's Roglic. I think he's an outsider because he can't prove himself, and other than the Vuelta, and we haven't seen him for a while. I have questions, but the only thing that works in his favor is the final TT.
Guys, is Primož Roglic an outsider?
Probably not. So I'll have to come back on that.
Okay, we'll come back on that. Okay.
And
you're an opportunist.
My opportunist will be Gatto.
Oh, Gatto. Okay. Yeah. Jackson or Karsten? Who wants to go next? Jackson's ready.
Yes, I am ready. So my leader for the Tour de France will be Tadej Pogačar.
Okay. I had a feeling. Do you have any reason other than duh?
I think he's on a team where he doesn't necessarily have the support that everybody else does. So I think he is riding a lot on instinct and has a great team director behind him. So I think that he is the one uncontrollable rider that Ineos cannot handle, that cannot contain. And I'm interested to see how that battle goes down. My sprinter, surprise, surprise, is Peter Sagan, Mr. Consistent. I think, as we saw with the Giro, he's always up there, and I think he will always be up there for the points, for the finishes, for everything. So I'm excited to see him race in a New Jersey as well. My climber is
outsider.
Kind of an
outsider.
What?
Outsider.
Oh yeah, outsider. Is
could be a climber too.
I'm gonna go with Rigoberto Urán.
Oh.
Yeah,
somebody coming up with her.
I thought he was showing some pretty good form recently at the Dauphiné. So,
he won a time trial.
What was that, sir?
He won a time trial.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's coming into his form at the perfect time.
Right on. You're opportunist.
Exactly. Yeah, my opportunist is going to be Alexei Lutsenko. I think he's a prime breakaway type of guy who can win a lot of stages. I know he'll probably try and go for at least one stage. He had one last year at the Tour, and I think he has a good possibility of taking the climber's jersey as well. I'm
starting to like Astana more now that Steve Bauer's involved too. So I don't know. I'm cheering for the Canadian element of Astana because I hated that team for decades. Good choices. Okay, I hope everybody listened to Jackson's choices because he's probably going to win. Karsten Hagen, what do you got for us, man?
Well, I'm going to say it's really hard following Jackson because he's usually right. I remember telling you last year that he called everything correctly, and what the fuck are we even doing here? But so what I'm going to say is for a leader, Carapaz, because at the end of the day, despite the fact that they're riding fucking caliper brakes, he's on the best team in the universe, and he's going to have the support that he needs. Can you imagine having 3 potential GC winners pacing you in the mountains?
Yeah.
He's got the support he needs, and I've always loved Jumbo Visma, but I just don't think they have the brain trust there. And same with the other team. I just don't see it happening with those other teams. At the end of the day, I think the team's going to win out for leader on this one.
Yeah.
In terms of sprinter, I'm going to say Sagan. I'm going to say this is his last one, but I also want to throw this name out there that Cabrelli has the potential to be, if not this year, is going to be a green jersey winner consistently in the future. I would love to see him win this year. I don't know if it's going to happen. Sagan's got a lot backing him up, but I wish it was Cabrelli. But I'm saying Sagan because I want to win.
Okay. You're outside.
Outsider, fuck. I would say that if Carapaz falls apart, to me that's kind of what defines the outsider. Then you got a couple other guys on Ineos that are going to fall into place.
You can't
so
do that.
So you got G or Port, Port is going to break something. He's going to fall, and something's going to happen. Or G. And G can fucking time trial.
But can Garrett? I don't think Garrett's going to count as an outsider, though.
Nope. If I can't get Roglic, no.
I don't think Garrett's going to count as an outsider.
So I'll let you get some thought on that. So I'm taking Buchmann.
Oh, you're taking Manuel Buchmann. Okay.
Yeah. For my outsider.
Okay.
Karsten, you've got an outsider and an opportunist left. And I don't know if we're going to let you take Garrett Thomas because he's
okay. Sorry. Outsider would be God, oh my God! We're talking about the same thing. I would say Mollema is somebody we don't talk about much.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah,
Bauke Mollema.
So, opportunist. I'm defining that category of stage winners. I mean, if you win enough stages, you're an opportunist.
Yeah, definitely.
Because there's a bunch of them. Oh my God, Lusenko, Izagirre, Dan Martin. If I'm going to choose one. Oh my God. I'm just going to choose one, but this is not my choice. Just to say, because I got to choose one. It's Campenaerts.
Campenaerts. Oh, okay.
He did in the Giro.
Yeah. He's a breakaway.
Look at what he's done.
Yeah.
Look at how close he's come. Look at how that fucker can ride.
Yeah.
He's
got a Thomas de Gent kind of a thing to him.
He does.
Yeah.
He's the badass Belgian in this race.
Yeah.
The one that's going to last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yours?
I'm gonna fuck 4 riders over right now. My leader, and this is why I wouldn't let you choose yours, because I'm picking Primož Roglic to win the Tour de France this year. I think he's got his shit dialed in. I think he's been holding his cards to his chest. I think Jumbo-Visma are going to come out swinging. I think they are ready to crush this motherfucker. My sprinter, sorry, Jackson. I, too, am picking Peter Sagan. I think his consistency is going to help him this year. One more time around the bases, Peter. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. My outsider, you guys can make fun of me as much as you want. I'm going to go down swinging with Richie Porte for my outsider, and I hope I didn't just fuck him over on stage 9. He's going to go down and he will explode this time. There will be flame.
Well, I don't know if that would be technically an outsider because he got 3rd in the podium last year.
But does he count as an outsider because he's like a 3rd down on Ineos?
I don't.
Listen,
anybody on Ineos, you even made that statement last time. It's like you can't pick 2 Ineos riders.
I didn't pick 2 Ineos riders.
Well, that's true.
I've got Roglic, Sagan, and Porte.
That's true.
I'm trying to remember where the start line is in Cheney. Is it past Yorktown? Is the paint line still on the pavement there?
We'll make it. It was the same thing I did for the Packfiller Classic last year. So the challenge. Okay. Yeah. So Classic challenge. I get my races mixed up. Yeah, the Classic. Jackson, what do you think? Can I now? I understand that you have to be nice to your dad, but.
No, when Carson said it earlier, I was going to accept that as an outsider. So I think Port's an outsider because I don't see him winning it. I see him as one of the highest profile domestiques in the high mountains. And
I could be fucking myself over because Porte could be completely burying himself on the climbs for a team leader and never make it to the top of the mountains.
You got a good argument. He's not going to sit back.
But yeah. And my opportunist is I can't pronounce his last name. Is Tim Merlier from Alpecin Phoenix. I'm going to go with him. I think he's going to be up there in the sprints, but he's not necessarily. He obviously because of Mathieu van der Poel, he's not Alpecin Phoenix's star for the road. So those are my 4. I apologize to each and every one of them.
Nobody for an opportunist took
Alaphilippe.
No, I'd say
he'd be a leader.
Fulgesang.
Jakob Fulgesang. The whole Astana Premier Tech team is going at this for stage wins.
Exactly.
That's their objective.
Lysenko is another one.
Yeah.
From that team.
Well, Jackson did pick Lysenko.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did.
Sorry for not listening.
No, that's fine. Everybody, any last second changes or forever hold your peace?
It's done and dusted.
Yeah.
All right. If these riders drop out You cannot change. This is like real bike racing. So everybody listening to this, if you pick your 4 riders and all of a sudden, I don't know, Richie Port doesn't make it past stage 9, you now only have 3 riders left. So plan accordingly and understand that. I think, Paul, you had an analogy the other day that I thought was perfect, and I can't remember what it was. It was just like, if tough. I mean, you can't suddenly just change the rules or something. I can't remember what it was.
Substitution in cycling.
Yeah. That might have been it. So
did we all choose? For sprinter?
Peter Sagan.
We all choose Sagan for sprinter.
Nope. Paul picked Caleb Ewan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're gonna lose. All right.
Oh, Caleb Ewan's gonna rank up some 5-pointers.
Those 3 weeks he's not.
But who cares? Let's say Caleb Ewan gets 15 points for winning 3 stages. Peter Sagan gets 3 third places. That's only 3 points.
Well, even if he doesn't even get in the top 3, he's still 0 points.
It's no points. Yeah, because you're going top 3. We're not going any deeper than that. And that's the weird way about how we play this game. Some of the other big, gigantic think tanks probably have poor interns tabulating points for 20 deep. We don't. I am the only dumbass sitting down here tabulating points.
Or some very nice Packfiller listener doing a spreadsheet.
Exactly. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. If he does it, he'll get something sent to him. When you're listening to this show,
you're going to get issued 1,000 different.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah, I'll send something to somebody who does all that fucking math for me. Yeah. Karsten, you were going to say?
Oh, just to say that for our 20 listeners,
fuck you. So much.
just maybe want to clarify that this is not about green jersey or yellow jersey, or this is about a subset within the points competition is what you're talking about.
Well, the yellow jersey, your GC or anybody that you listed wins the GC, he gets 40 points. That's overall.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so those 3 jerseys, that could make or break it. For example, we had some people in the Giro contest who picked well in their stage wins, but absolutely blew the doors off because they picked the overall winners and things like that. So, I think Jackson was one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wins this all the goddamn time. So
Jack Broadhead won the whole thing.
Jack did, and Jack will be placing his bets in here. We'll get him on
from
in
Mexico,
some way, shape, or form.
From Mexico, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's going to Mexico, yeah, exactly, yeah. So, so anybody else want to? I guess before we sign off, anybody want to pick like a final podium? Like, just this doesn't have to be a bet. Just anybody think they can pick the 3 riders who will be on the podium in Paris? I can't. Oh fuck! I would go with Pogačar, Roglic, and Carapaz. That'd be
mine too.
Easy one to pick. Although I wanted Geraint Thomas. Yeah,
that's it.
I will pick a little bit of a different one. I think it will be Pogačar, Roglic, and possibly Wilco Kelderman.
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
What?
Oh, don't question him, man. This guy does his fucking homework, dude. You know that when you graduate from college, you're the smartest you'll ever be in terms of rounded knowledge. From there on, you just go on and specialize. So Jackson, in other words, is the smartest of all of us because he's at the peak of his knowledge. He's just going to get dumber from here on out. I
chose Bauke Mollema because I thought I was going to sound really smart and that nobody would know. Everybody be blown away by that choice.
Yeah, no.
And so fucking Jackson picks this other guy who he's probably right about that none of us thought about. What the fuck?
He does his homework, dude.
God.
I thought about him, but this is a new team, and I don't think he's really found his groove yet.
Yeah. So here we go, you guys. The tour is less than a week away. Summer's going to be over in 3 weeks. Of course, we will be with you throughout with weekly shows. I'm not going to do a daily show. A lot of other podcasts do that, and they're far better at it than I am. We will even be doing shows from the RV on the way to the Belgian Waffle Ride. Jackson and I will be on the way down there. We'll have to figure out ways to contact you guys and do shows that way. So place your bets. They have to be into us by Well, are we going local time, like Pacific time, on Saturday? So 24 hours before the prologue starts, and it starts on Sunday, right?
Pacific time, we should have by midnight on Friday.
Midnight on Friday. There we go.
Pacific time.
Midnight on Friday, Pacific time. I'll probably allow you a little buffer, just so long as when I hit the start ramp. I mean, the first rider goes down the start ramp in the first stage. Is it a prologue? I think I know what I'm talking. Fuck,
No
I did.
prologue.
So I just fucked it up by saying there was a prologue. Now I look like an idiot. I wish I edited these shows. But when the gun goes off for the first stage, your picks are in to our Facebook page. So look us up at Packfiller Entertainment and Podcasts. Place your bets there, and we will hopefully get all those documented in. All the apparently 20, as Karsten says, and we'll go from there. And it'll be a fun and spirited competition, and I think bragging rights on top of some fun swag that I will send you from our friends and wonderful sponsors throughout the year. Anybody have anything they want to add before we go out? All right, keep the rubber side down. Like, subscribe, tell a friend, and all that sort of stuff. Thank you guys for tuning into Podbean Live. Thank you guys for tuning into YouTube Live. And we will catch you in 1 week when the 2021 Tour de France, as Bob would say, is officially underway. There's so many fucking buttons to hit. Oh, I got Jackson pinned. That's why.
So can I officially scratch my balls now? Are we off?